Hello everyone, Progressive Hoodie here. Sunday I had a day off. It was quite a busy weekend and I was not able to really upload anything. There was a video that I've been meaning to respond to. It's the Nina Turner versus Hilary Rosen debacle on CNN. This absolute nonsense on Chris Cuomo's show. So we're going to watch it together. I'm going to respond.
Suffrage, we don't think so. How do you deal with the record of votes and of stories that don't hold up?
You know, Nina referenced Dr. Martin Luther King before, saying that he said from the Birmingham jail that we should be concerned about white moderates.
Yep,
That's actually not what Martin Luther King said. What he said is we should be worried about the silence of white moderates.
Are you kidding me?
Nina? Wait,
she's making a language point.
What he said was we should worry
she's
about
making a language point. Okay, she's making a language point. I see. Okay, well, let's talk about that language point. How about this language? Go read the letter, Hillary. Go read the letter from a Birmingham jail. I would be willing to bet almost any amount of money that Hilary Rosen hadn't read that letter before this interview. Oh my God, I'd be willing to bet my entire life savings that this woman has never read the entire letter from a Birmingham jail. How many want to bet? Leave your comment in the description if you think she's read the letter or not. I guarantee you that she has not. So let's actually get into that letter and see what it actually says. Not the whitewashed version of history that we're sold in school, not that nonsense, but what it actually says. So let's get into the letter. I'm just going to read this little excerpt here, and you tell me who's correct here, Nina Turner or Miss Hilary Rosen. I must confess that over the past few years, I've been gravely disappointed with the white moderate. I have almost reached the regrettable conclusion, that the Negro's great stumbling block in his stride toward freedom is not the white citizens counselor or the Ku Klux Klanner, but the white moderate who is more devoted to order than justice. Now, you tell me, please, who is correct here? I believe Miss Turner is correct. So I'm going to need you to go read the letter, because he absolutely is concerned about moderates, as he says on multiple occasions, to be honest with you, in this letter, more than just there throughout. And so we're going to get into more of it, but let's make this clear. You're wrong. So now I'm going to go ahead and finish reading this, actually. Let me go ahead and do that now. And you tell me if this doesn't describe the white moderates that we got up in here in this country today. So let's continue. The white moderate, he talks about the white moderate who is more devoted to order than to justice. Now watch this. See if this don't describe the moderates now. If this doesn't describe, even more specifically, the Democratic establishment now. Who prefers negative peace, which is the absence of tension, to a positive peace, which is the presence of justice. Who constantly says, I agree with you in the goal you seek, but I cannot agree with your methods of direct action. Who paternalistically believes he can set the timetable for another man's freedom, who lives by the mythical concept of time, and who constantly advises the Negro to wait for a more convenient season, that's in quotes. Shallow understanding from people of goodwill is more frustrating than absolute misunderstanding from people of ill will. Lukewarm acceptance is much more bewildering than outright rejection. Now, do you tell me that does not sound like the Democratic establishment? You tell me that does not sound like these models we got up in this Congress right here, and especially the Senate. Of course it does, because that's the way that they are. But let's continue.
About the silence of white moderates. And what we have in Joe Biden is a man who is not silent. He has a long record, and many votes that in today's world feel like the wrong thing were the wrong thing, and he has discussed that over and over again, as Bernie Sanders did on the gun votes and other things. So we can be talking about votes from 20 years ago, or we can be talking about people's values and who they trust.
Last quick
and
point.
That's what Joe Biden's going to be talking about.
Last quick point to you, Nina. What the Reverend Chris, what Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was talking about, he said it is the point that the white moderate wants things to be comfortable, and instead of focusing in on that, the bigger threat is not necessarily the white KKK member, but more the white moderate that is more comfortable with keeping things the same or pretending like there is no tension.
Don't use Martin Luther King against Joe Biden. You don't have that. You don't have that standing. I'm sorry, you don't.
Don't tell me what kind of standing I have as a black woman in America. How dare you?
You have a lot of standing as a black woman in America.
Pause. Excuse me? You don't have the standing? Miss Nina Turner does not have the standing to talk about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? Oh, okay. Well, let's see what standing Hilary Rosen has. Let's see what standing she has that we should listen to anything that comes out of her stupid mouth. I'm reading from this Wikipedia article. It's going to give us a few controversies involving her, so let's listen to this. During the campaign leading up to the 2012 United States presidential election, Rosen criticized Ann Romney, the wife of then presidential candidate Mitt Romney, claiming that, now watch this, as a stay-at-home mother, Romney never worked a day in her life. Rosen was pressured to apologize when her remarks were condemned by the Democratic National Committee and Obama, who stated that he had little patience for commentary about the spouses of political candidates. Michelle Obama also distanced herself from Rosen, expressing that every mother works hard and every woman deserves to be respected. Let me tell you something. What standing do you have? These fake white moderates don't really care about women's issues. They don't. They don't really care about women's issues. They want to use these women's issues for their own political benefit and gain. Women are a prop to the Democratic establishment because they vote for Democrats disproportionately. And it's the same thing with black people. They don't really care about actually doing what's in our best interest. They don't care about actually representing the ideas of Martin Luther King Jr. the way that of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the way that they were actually put forward by him. They want to whitewash it just as our school system does. Why? Because their true concern is not actually with getting down to the truth, and it's not actually with helping the black community. They use the black community because they vote Democrat. And there are so many people out there who just mindlessly continue to vote for the Democrat, regardless of who it is. The vote blue, no matter who people. I'm talking to you. And this is what we have. This is a huge part of the problem with this country. We can't expect these people to do anything for us if we don't rise up and demand it. We can't say you're gonna get my vote regardless of what you do, but here's what I need you to do. That's not how negotiation works. As soon as you've given away your vote, that's it. Your power is in your vote. And once you've given it away to that person, it doesn't matter. They can promise they can not do any. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to worry about your agenda. They don't have to worry about having a progressive agenda. They don't have to worry about having a black agenda. They don't have to worry about having a woman's agenda because they don't have to do anything for you. Women are going to vote for the Democrats regardless. You're going to line your behind up and you're going to vote for them regardless of what they do. They ain't got to do nothing for you. Toots. So get in line and get to voting. Same thing with the black people. Oh, the black people gonna get in line. We ain't gotta do nothing for you, darky. Go ahead and get in line. If that's the way you want to be treated by the Democrats, fine, be my guest. But that's not happening here. So if you're looking for a mindless vote blue no matter who commentary, you might want to click off. You might not want to watch this channel. Right. Because then you ain't getting that here. We're giving real talk about these fake moderates and these fake progressives who don't really care about making any serious change. The same white moderates that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was warning you about in this letter from the Birmingham jail, that he was warning you about. Here she is right now, white-splaining to Nina Turner. Okay? Wow. Let's continue. So here's another thing with Rosen. Rosen was criticized in December of 2017 for making 2 tweets calling several Georgetown Hoyas fans anti-Semitic signaling out one as a bigot after he noticed a photograph of a fan wearing a bacon costume. After Rosen was told that the fan in question was known as Bacon Man and wore the costume because of his last name, which was spelled B-A-K-A-N, pronounced Bacon, she apologized. So here you are, jumping to conclusions, making it all about, you see how quickly they do this though? How quickly they jump to conclusions. Oh, we gotta make it about race. Oh, gotta come out and make things about race. Oh, gotta come out and make it about this issue. And jump to those conclusions. Pandering to those communities. This is what Democrats do all the time. Going out there pandering, pandering, and pandering. And it's absolutely ridiculous. I'm not here for it. I've had it. There's enough of this garbage nonsense. Actually start delivering for these people or stop expecting our votes. I'm not going to just keep coming up and showing up for you while you do nothing and go on television and sit there with this smug, arrogant attitude talking down to Nina Turner, who knows way more about the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. than your pathetic behind knows about maybe any subject. Get off the television. Go away. No one wants to hear from you, Hilary Rosen. This is ridiculous. And you have no standing to talk on anything. How about that? You have no standing. Miss Jump to conclusions about bacon, about some bacon. Talk about someone who needs to grow up. All right. Now, anyway, I'm about to go all the way off today. Let's continue because I'm telling you right now, man, I need to get this video done because this is about to bring my blood pressure all the way up.
So you don't have the standing to attack Joe Biden using Martin Luther King's words.
I didn't attack anybody. You're taking it that way. Listen, don't dip into what I have to say about the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. How dare you, as a white woman, sit up here and try to tell me
that is not.
I mean, really? Look at how she continues interrupting her. And I gotta tell you, Nina Turner is exactly the type of surrogate that the Bernie Sanders campaign and all progressives in the future need for their campaigns. Because she's going out there and taking the fight to her. She never allows herself to just be run over by the other person. She's not going to play that. She's like, oh no, you're not going to sit here and talk to me about the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when you don't even know what the heck you're talking about. Sitting here saying some stupid thing, taking one word silence from that letter out of context instead of looking at the overall picture in that letter. You look real stupid right now, Hilary Rosen. Real stupid on national television. And look at the paternalism. No, no, no. No, you don't you do that. Just talking down. I didn't say that. You didn't say what? What are you talking about? She never said you said. So what she is saying is that you are interrupting her. And you are. So what are you saying? Oh, I didn't say that. I didn't say you said anything. I said you interrupted me. You dipping in on what I have to say about the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And you need to shut up. Wow. And then look at the terrible job that Chris Cuomo does moderating this whole thing, right? It's just awful. Just, I mean, oh, well, you know, she's doing a language thing and something, and I don't know, and you guys need to get along, and the light, oh, wait, okay, hold up, let me play this. What is Chris Cuomo's response to this? What is Chris Cuomo's response to Hilary Rosen bringing her white hips on his show and interrupting Nina Turner, whitesplaining to her something that she doesn't even know anything about? Talking some trash, some nonsense, okay? And then coming out there and being wrong about Dr. Martin Luther King, and then interrupting her constantly throughout this. What is his response?
Trying to tell me
Don't you do that.
what I'm supposed to feel and what I'm doing right
I'm
now.
out of time on this.
That's something, Chris, I didn't jump in on her, though. And then she wants to jump in on me.
Okay,
and give me a
It's not
certain
nobody
interpretation.
jumping in on anybody. You guys are in the same party. This is what you guys have to figure out. You're in the same party. And let me tell you, you better keep that same energy when you're up against Trump that you have against each other. Because he is bigger and badder than I think you guys are ready for. But let's agree on this about Dr. King. Only light can drive out darkness. Only love can drive out hate.
Ill. Ew. How gross. That's your response? This is the mainstream media, folks. This is the mainstream media. This is the kind of garbage you get from them. You guys are on the same party. Well, I've got news for you, Cuomo. I am not in the same party. And so many of the people watching this are also not in the same party. I'm an independent. I'm not a mindless, smooth-brained, drooling all over myself, vote blue no matter who moron. I am an independent who thinks for myself. And if you think that I'm going to show up and vote for Strom Thurmond's friend in this general election, he better give me a whole lot of reason to show up in this general and vote for him. And so far, with surrogates like Hilary Rosen going up there and spreading stupidity, he ain't doing that good of a job. I love how Bernie Sanders is responsible for apologizing for every single thing that random Joe, random fools from Twitter that say whatever nonsense. He's responsible for that. But Bernie Sanders calls for Joe Biden to apologize for his surrogate and what she said, the way that she talked down to Nina Turner. And I don't see an apology from Joe Biden about it. Haven't seen it. I did see an apology from Hilary Rosen. Would you like to see that? Let's get into Hilary Rosen's apology, okay, that she had for this. I mean, you want to really begin to get your blood boiling? Here's what she tweeted. On air Thursday, I said my colleague at Nina Turner didn't have the standing to use Martin Luther MLK Jr. That was wrong. I am sorry for saying those words. Now, here we go. Please, no need to defend me defend me and attack angry black women. What? They have the standing. I always need to listen more than I talk. We rise together. No, we don't rise together. We don't rise together. We don't do nothing together, Hilary Rosen. You and I don't do anything together. If you want to rise with us, you're more than welcome to, but you're going to get your act straight. You're going to get your facts straight. You're going to get your tweets straight. You're going to get your apology straight. You're going to get your behind straight. Or we going to straighten it out for you. Or you going to get out the way. The fact that people like this think that they can stand in the way of this grassroots movement that we're building, oh, no, not going to happen. They may succeed this time, but overall, we will win. And this is just nonsense. This tweet from her, first of all, is not an apology. What you need to apologize is for disrespecting. What you need to apologize is for being incorrect. Just the fact that you told her that she don't have the standing to talk about it, obviously that was just stupid. And it's not even just because Nina Turner is black. It's because you were wrong. That's why. It's not because she's black and you white. It's because she's black and right and you white and wrong. That's the issue. So that's what you should apologize for being wrong and spreading false information on the corporate news network, CNN. That's what you should be apologizing for. And for constantly interrupting her throughout it when she sat there and respectfully listened to you spout foolishness. And then you come and interrupt when she gets ready to set the record straight and talk about what the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King actually said. So that's what you need to be apologizing for. So then, of course, she got a whole lot of pushback for that angry black woman part. And of course, I think what she was trying to say, and it does seem like what she was trying to say was like, look, there's no need to come after and angry black women this whole thing. But she didn't even put that part in quotes. So it basically sounds like that's what you're saying, right? But I think what she was trying to say is her supporters were saying that. And she did follow it up with a tweet that says, I am horrified that, because people were dragging her behind. I bet she was horrified. She was horrified by how red her behind was, how raw it was from her getting dragged all up and down Twitter on her behind, right? So she said, I am horrified that anyone would think I would call Nina Turner an angry black woman. I would never. After the TV hit last night. These people don't even know how to talk, and they got the nerve to sit here and talk down to Nina Turner. She can't even write a coherent tweet. Sound like Joe Biden wrote her tweet. After the TV hit last night, I was getting tons of ugly messages to keep fighting her using that phrase. So basically she's saying people were messaging me, telling me to keep fighting against, Nina Turner and calling her an angry black woman and things like that. I was trying to tell those people to stop because I knew I needed to apologize. Oh my God. And so I went into Hilary Rosen's post and I responded with the following. You might want to take responsibility for all of those people. After all, they are your followers. They are followers of you. So you must be drawing this behavior out of them. You better shape up. Right. They're so quick to tell Bernie Sanders he needs to shape up when his followers are spreading things or saying something mean or nasty to somebody. But when Hilary Rosen is going on here saying white-splaining to Nina Turner and then goes on with her fake apology on Twitter, and then people are responding to that and basically feeding back that same negative energy against black people that she was giving on CNN, then she's gonna come up there and cry, oh my God, I can't believe people are calling her an angry black woman. Yeah, that's, you know what, you're bringing that out of those people. That's your fault. So you need to take responsibility for it. Wow. Just wow. If you want to know why I don't consider myself a Democrat anymore, that's why. It's people like Hilary Rosen that are part of the establishment. And again, the establishment is not voters. The establishment are these people that have these comfy desk jobs at CNN where they sit there and read the news to you while they know nothing about it. People who are contributors and commentators who don't know what the heck they're talking about have the nerve to correct somebody else who actually knows what they're talking about. It's people like our senators and our representatives who take money from the corporations and do what they want rather than doing what we the people want, who they supposed to be representing. These are all of the reasons why I don't consider myself a Democrat anymore. You go up there and you use black people for your own gain, but when it comes to what our actual words are on the subject, you twist them and turn them and white-splain them and whitewash them to make it more fitting for you as a white moderate that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, by the way, were talking about. As being that person, you come out there and whitewash it so that it's more comfortable for you versus the truth of what the back person says. That you sit there and disrespect the legacy of one of the most revered black men in America while you claim to have more standing to talk about him than Nina Turner does. I'm going to leave you with this portion of the letter from the Birmingham jail. The letter that Hilary Rosen should have read, that if she had actually read it at any time in her pathetic, consider whatever she is, political life or whatever it is that she thinks that she does professionally. If she had ever done this in her pathetic professional life, she would have avoided embarrassing herself in front of the entire country. I'm going to read this and then I'll leave y'all. This is from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We know through painful experience that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. Frankly, I have yet to engage in a direct action campaign that was well-timed, in quotes, in the view of those who have not suffered unduly from the disease of segregation. For years now, I have heard the word wait. It rings in the ear of every Negro with piercing familiarity. This wait has almost always meant never. We must come to see with one of our distinguished jurists that justice too long delayed is justice denied. We have waited for more than 340 years for our constitutional and God-given rights. The nations of Asia and Africa are moving with jet-like speed toward gaining political independence, but we still creep at a horse and buggy pace toward gaining a cup of coffee at a lunch counter. Perhaps it is easy for those who have never felt the stinging darts of segregation to say, wait, but when you have seen vicious mobs lynch your mothers and fathers at will and drown your sisters and brothers at whim, when you have seen hate-filled policemen curse, kick, and even kill your black brothers and sisters, when you have seen a vast majority of your 20 million Negro brothers smothering in an airtight cage of poverty in the midst of an affluent society, when you suddenly find your tongue twisted and your speech stammering as you seek to explain to your 6-year-old daughter why she can't go to the public amusement park that has just been advertised on television and see tears welling up in her eyes when she is told that Funtown is closed to colored children, and see ominous clouds of inferiority beginning to form in her little mental sky, and you see her beginning to distort her personality by developing an unconscious bitterness towards white people, when you have to concoct an answer for a 5-year-old son who is asking, Daddy, why do white people treat colored people so mean? When you take a cross-country drive and find it necessary to sleep night after night in the uncomfortable corners of your automobile because no motel will accept you, when you are humiliated day in and day out by nagging signs reading white and colored, when your first name becomes nigger and your middle name becomes boy, however old you are, and your last name becomes John, and your wife and mother are never given the respected title Mrs., when you are harried by day and haunted by night by the fact that you are a Negro living constantly in at tiptoe stance, never quite knowing what to expect next, and are plagued with inner fears and outer resentments, when you are forever fighting a degenerating sense of nobodiness, then you will understand why we find it difficult to wait. And that's what the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. has to say about this. Now you take that and apply that to today. We've got veterans, homeless, people dying without access to health care, bombing brown people overseas and spending all of our money on bombs instead of educating the populace of this country. About to set this whole, might as well just set this whole planet ablaze, on fire. And you look at what the moderates want to do about all those problems, which is next to nothing. And you tell me that this isn't just as applicable to the problems we have today as it was to the problems of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s day. Now, the person who doesn't understand the legacy of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is you, Hilary Rosen, and all the rest of the establishment media and the white moderates in Congress and the moderates of all races in Congress who think that by tiptoeing towards justice, we will actually ever get there. They have no interest in doing what's in the best interest of the people. They care about themselves, their bottom lines, and their access to power and their comfort level, which the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. talked about in his letter. So read the letter for yourselves. Deuces.